these two sides. Let's hope tonight is no different here at Headingley Carnegie Stadium. Leeds 5th in the table, 3 points and 3 places above the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Let's take a quick check on the way the two sides will line up. Brent Webb at full-back after his suspension for the Rhinos. Then it's Donald, Delaney, Smith plays instead of Senior. He's on the bench. Hall, Sinfield the skipper, and Maguire. Up front, it's Luluwai, Badiris and Kirk. Pitts, who once upon a time played for Wakefield. Ablett and Jamie Jones-Buchanan. And on the bench, what a bench. It's got Senior, Peacock, Diskin and Eastwood. Internationals all for coach Brian McLennan. Now the Wildcats, Aaron Murphy continues at full-back. Blanche, Gleeson, Dimitri the skipper, and Luke George. The Maverick, Paul Cook and Sam Obst. The forwards, it's King, Leolatu and Moore. Johnson, Kermond and Morrison, who makes his return to the side. And not a bad bench here either for Wakefield, with Blaymire, Jeffries, Korkidas and Kevin Henderson. The coach is John Keir. Well, Wakefield's start to the season was in marked contrast to the Leeds Rhinos. They had 3 straight wins at the beginning, including a 28-18 home win over Leeds. It was in stark contrast to the Rhinos, who lost 5 of their first 8 rounds. May, always going to be a big month for the Rhinos. They've come through unscathed, back on course for Old Trafford. They're still in the Cup, and Brian McLennan, their coach, has just agreed a 12-month extension to his contract. And there he is, Brian McLennan, waiting for this game to get underway. He knows that defence has been a problem for them this year, though. 53 tries conceded in 15 games. Their points against column is only the 7th best in Super League, but they showed last weekend what they can do in tight matches. They beat Wigan 12-10 in the Cup without being at their fluent best. It displayed a tremendous resolve. And the two sides emerge from the dressing room side by side tonight, because before this match, and indeed at grounds throughout the country this weekend, there will be a minute's silence in memory of 31-year-old Gary Purdom, the former Whitehaven and Workington player, the brother of Harlequins captain Rob Purdom, who was shot and killed in the dreadful incident in Cumbria this week when a gunman went on the rampage throughout the county. Unbelievably, Gary Purdom, a rugby league man, was caught up in the carnage. And there will be a minute's reflection before kick-off here as remember Gary and all the other victims, of course, of that dreadful day on Wednesday. And as the referee and the players line up and wait for the PA announcement, just a footnote to everything that you will see here taking place tonight. I had a call earlier on today from Stephen Ball from the Rugby League Benevolent Fund, who is planning to meet Ros Purdom on Monday, that's Gary's widow, to offer her any help and support that she might need on behalf of the rugby league family in this country and, of course, worldwide. So in common with grounds throughout the country this weekend, a minute's silence in a moment or two in the memory of 31-year-old Gary Purdom. He played for Whitehaven and Workington. He actually played with his brother Rob Purdom at Whitehaven under the tutelage of the Whitehaven coach of the time, our very own Paul Cullen. And of course we also remember right now all the other victims. A desperate, terrible day in West Cumbria, remembered with an immaculate minute's silence here at Headingley. A dreadful, dreadful day, the repercussions of which, of course, will be felt for many, many years to come. Ian Smith is the man who controlled that minute's silence. He is the man in the middle who will control this match in the Engage Super League as the Leeds Rhinos begin the quest for Old Trafford and indeed the League Leaders' Shield. And can they pick up where they left off in the final minute of last weekend's epic cup tie against the Wigan Warriors? Wakefield will hope not. They've had the week off, of course. They've been sitting and waiting and planning for this. Kevin Sinfield gets us underway. The game's in motion. Big night for the Wildcats, Steve-O.
Certainly is, and John Keir, the coach, is fully aware of the fact that they've had a fortnight's rest, and we'll be hoping perhaps that Leeds will be a little bit tired, especially late in the game. But I do believe that the Wildcats will play very strong down the middle. John Keir feels that perhaps if there's going to be a weakness in this Rhinos lineup, it's going to be in the forwards.
Important man returning to the side. He just took the ball up there on the tackle previous to this, Glenn Morrison. And they get the first penalty of the match to Wakefield. Paul King was driving it forward. And the man picked out by the referee for a flop late on. There it is.
And he didn't really have to do that, and he realises it. Ryan McLennan knows that throughout this season, the lack of concentration at times has been Leeds' worst enemy. And also, perhaps, not being aware of the play of the ball area.
Here's Paul King, who will drive it in again. Tackled by Medeiros and pushed back by Kevin Sinfield. Leo Latu is the dummy half. Moore was the dummy runner. This is Sam Obst, and he was gathered in by the tall figure of Ian Kerr. Second row for the last 6. They're playing a prop forward tonight. Now Paul Cook fires the pass to Kermond. He takes it straight towards Jay Pitts.
Pretty good work by the big second row of Pitts as well. He realised that it was going to be a flat ball. Came up in the line. Pretty solid defence from the Rhinos at the moment.
Oh, but Glenn Morrison will get over the line for Wakefield's first try. Well, that's the bonus of having Glenn Morrison back in your side. One of 3 former Bradford Bulls who joined this year, back after 5 out with a broken hand. And Glenn Morrison has given the Wildcats an absolutely perfect start to the match here at Headingley. They lead the champions 4-0. It's Murrayfield deja vu.
Certainly is, and the big fella running out wide as well. Beautiful pass from Cook. You could see it looked as though Ops was going to be the key player. And I think that Leeds, they just hesitated at the vital moment. I barely got it out of my mouth that they were pretty solid up until this point, but that is a great effort. Nothing Maguire could do about it. But Paul Cook's pass was nothing short of sensational. Sam Ops came on the angle, looked as though he was going to be the key player, but it went to Morrison instead. Fantastic start.
You know, a firm pitch with good weather conditions like we have here tonight highlights the passing quality of a team. You get opportunities to move the ball around more in these situations, and we saw some fantastic passing, particularly there from Paul King. It's difficult for a man of his size and agility to turn and make that pass, but he did it very well, and it's given them a 4-point lead.
It's given them a 6-point lead because Paul Cook has just added the extras. Leeds Rhinos 0 and Wakefield Trinity Wildcats 6 in the opening moments of this game at Headingley.
Super stuff, wasn't it? And it was this pass from Cook that you see how Ops just completely confused him. He held back. Normally they use a dummy runner, and Leeds were kidded into that.
That's something they'll be hoping to see a bit of Paul Cook. He's got this great long or short pass, but he usually does it down the short side. If they start getting some good play, have a look out for that same ball down the short side.
Morrison drives the ball forward again. He will play it there, and here's the runner, Paul Johnson. 3 Pauls, Paul Johnson, Paul King, Paul Cook. The 3 Pauls, here's another one of them who just could be the key to the second half of the season for John Keir, the 3 new signings.
Oh, I knew that the Wildcats could come out firing and really set a few doubts into the minds of this Leeds outfit. It was a tough game last week against Wigan. It would have taken quite a lot. That is a sensational kick.
Obbs drilled the ball all on the ground, allowed the bounce to do the work, and it did the work. Look, straight over the head of Brent Webb.
It's amazing how if you just punch the ball into the ground, it can go anywhere. And on this occasion, He's played out of his skin as well, Sam Obst. He was instrumental in that wonderful victory over Harlequins a fortnight ago.
Playing his 4th in a row at scrum half, Sam Obst. Leeds, though, with the possession from the scrum. But Wakefield look up for this, don't they?
Well, I think they've probably got some unfinished business. They'll be so disappointed when you lose a game narrowly in the dying seconds, as they did against Leeds just over a month ago. Then you start to play on your mind, and your determination at the next time you meet that side is higher than you will normally find. I'm sure they have a focus. It would be fantastic for them as a club if they were able to put the double, a home and an away league win for John Keir against the reigning champions would indicate that they are contenders in 2010. Great season from them last season. Can they move up now to the next level?
Well, they can achieve something tonight that they haven't enjoyed in nearly 20 years. Their last home and away league double against Leeds came in the 1991-92 season. 22-20 here and 22-20 at Wakefield rather, and 17-0 here at Headingley.
Interesting to see there, John Keir had the prop forward Richard Moore as the man to pick out the kicking game from Danny Maguire. They applied the real good pressure coming in on the angle. Now Maguire wouldn't feel that a prop forward would be the man to take him out, but it appears that way.
Here's Kermond again for Wakefield. Sinfield hangs on to him, pushes him back. Dimitri of the dummy half for Wakefield. Gets through Ian Kirk, can't get away from Kylie Luluwai. Last tackle here now for Wakefield. Liolato to Cook. And simple game plan from Wakefield. They're just kicking for territory.
That is fantastic. That is the way Wakefield need to start this game. That's the second great kick they've put in this first 6 minutes. Drill it down into the corner and let Leeds come out from off their own try line. Wonderful play by Paul Cook.
And not only that, Brian, is the fact that on both occasions they've taken that very short blind side, and that gives you a little bit extra moment to be able to give you room to make sure that the kick is successful, and it has been on both occasions. Leeds really have to dig deep to get out to the halfway line here.
You know, you mentioned something else about enthusiasm, and it was the kick chase of Wakefield, and you're dead right, Steve-O. Kick chase is a great indicator of enthusiasm in a team, and Wakefield seem to have it at the moment.
Well, they've got it in bundles at the moment because they're flying out of defence here. This is Maguire. Oh, that's good play from him, but he couldn't get through the tackle from Blanche and Gleeson. Going down that side, that ball though went backwards, did it? Says the referee. Yes, they managed to hang on to it. Carl Ablett breathing a sigh of relief. Here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
He did
Great
well.
tackling from Wakefield.
Yeah, it is. He did well, Ablett, there. He really got rocked back. And again, applying the pressure from the prop forward.
Maguire's kick finds its way into the arms of Luke George. It's a good chase by Jay Pitts. 22 appearances with Wakefield. He's an ex-Leeds season ticket holder, is Jay Pitts. Now playing for the club he supported from these famous terraces at Headingley.
And the most important factor as far as Wakefield and John Keir, the coach, will be concerned is, look, they've got over the halfway line on the second tackle. And that means with the ability that we've seen already from Sam Ops and Paul Cook, that kicking on the blind side, they're applying more pressure to the Rhinos.
Paul Johnson nearly threw a hole then, and Morrison was sniffing the opportunity on his shoulder. Here's Obst again. That ricochets off a Leeds man. It's awfully awkward. It's very awkward. It's come up for Sam Obst, and Obst, a second try for the Wildcats, is it? Or is it? Well, it didn't seem like there was much wrong with it.
No, Ian Smith wants to see whether there was a hand touched by a Wakefield player. I don't think there was. Again, utilising that short blind side for the kick. It ricochets off a Leeds player. I think you'll find that it's Lee Smith.
But they're looking to see if he's onside first, aren't they? Well, that's the first question asked but to the video referee. Is
Damien Blanche just a hint, or is Sean Gleeson? He seems happy with it. There's no knock on there. He was
play on,
Damien Blanche missed the kick, and as it turns out, Hall can't get to it, and guess what? Sam Ops can. This will be TRY, and the Wakefield supporters will go absolutely wild. They're stunned to the Rhinos.
They're checking the grounding, but wasn't Damien Blanche in a slightly offside position on this near side? James Child doesn't think so, I think, because this will be try, and it is. Sam Obst, ever present this year. It's his 4th match in a row at scrum half. First try since the Good Friday win against Castleford. He was injured in the warm-up and he missed the game here last year. Well, he's certainly arrived and stamped his mark tonight already.
Certainly has. The kick ricochets. He was trying to punch it batting into the middle. Blanche didn't get a hand to it. Hobbs said it's a gift, and it is. Boy, I've never seen Headingley as quiet. He wanted to kick it into the corner. He got the ricochet. He got the bounce. Did Mr. Hobbs. And Leeds, well, Phil Clark mentioned before the kick-off about their wonderful ability to fight back. And I tell you what, Phil, the Rhinos are going to have to dig deep.
It's deja vu, isn't it? You know, Leeds prevented Wigan from scoring a single try in 80 minutes action last week. The Wildcats have got two already in the first side of their first 8 minutes, so big turnaround for them.
Indeed, look at that, 12-0 to the Wakefield Wildcats. Sam Hobbs, the second try scorer.
And have a look at the chase, Steve-O. This is the thing. Look at the pressure they put on Lee Smith.
They certainly did, Brian, but most importantly, you could see, I think, from that angle that that Blanche was onside. And it was quite obvious that James Child, the video referee, he was extremely confident. And I'd like to see that as well, because I must say, over the past few weeks, a few of the officials have been a touch shady. I'll leave it at that.
12-0, 10 minutes gone. They're ahead of the clock, the Wakefield Wildcats. Sam Obst at dummy half. Here is Johnson again.
Well, this is the first time that the Rhinos have applied the pressure, and you can see that Wakefield are having a bit of trouble getting out of their defensive quarter.
They secured their best win in 2 years, 12 days ago. It sends them to Headingley in great spirit, but that's a bone cruncher from Kylie Luluai. Danny Kermon felt that.
That went backwards. Oh!
Jamie Jones Buchanan's picked up on it.
Hesitation in the Wakefield defence, and the ball went backwards.
This is Maguire. Can't get round Morrison. Badiris waiting. Finds Ian Kirk.
Well, this is where Leeds have to get planning permission now. They've got to just camp down there.
And they get the penalty.
Take the quick tap. 2 points is no good to them. They need possession. They need to lift their spirits, and they'll get that with a try if they can get over this time.
And here is Brent Webb. Jason Dramitu gets to him though. That's the first tackle.
Oh, he's lost it.
Hands in at the play the ball. Second quick penalty for Leeds.
It looks as though he just lost control, but can Wakefield's defence hang in? They're coming up as a unit.
Luluai driving it in. His improved form has coincided with Leeds' march up the table. Here's Badiris. Now it's with Maguire. Went Webb. Ball goes to ground again. But they managed to keep possession somehow. Smith did well then, getting it away to Ryan Hall.
A little bit of panic setting in.
And there was a hand in it, apparently, a hand by Wakefield. The referees wiped the tackle count down.
Even more pressure. But I just get a feeling that Leeds are a little bit under panic at the moment. You've got to get the likes of Sinfield, Maguire out there to control things.
Great try from Luluai again. Taking Leeds right underneath the Wakefield posts. Here is Badiris, now Sinfield. Sinfield gets the ball away to Maguire. Maguire just ghosts in. Danny Maguire in fantastic form. 3 tries in the win at Bradford. 3 tries against Wakefield here in 2008 in a 58-12 win. And he got a try in the defeat at Wakefield in February. Danny Maguire is on unlucky 13 for the season now. Back in the England squad as well. Danny Maguire for next weekend's test against the French.
Well, another penalty. You can see there that the skipper, Jason Demetriou, has knocked the ball away from Webb. It was the third on the trot. But this is all about good support play. Ball carrying arm was knocked down from Sinfield and Maguire. What a combination it's turning out to be. The two halves, Sinfield and Maguire. Rob Burrow, of course, is still injured, but the combination has come up trumps. Maguire is red hot at the moment.
Sinfield will add the extras, missed a couple last week in the cup tie against Wigan. Doesn't miss with his first, bang in front. 6-12.
It was an interesting decision by Jason Demetriou. Obviously, you have to make an immediate risk assessment when you're defending your own try line, but he's pushed up very quickly here to try and prevent the ball from going on the outside, and as so often happens, the best teams keep it alive, turn it back to some fast feet, and Danny Maguire gets the first 4 points.
Well, it was important they got a score there. I think it's nice. We should reference Kylie Luluai's work in defence there. He's absolutely leathered. I think it was Danny Kermond, and that set that chain of events in motion, resulting in a Leeds try.
Paul Cook then kicks off. Brent Webb is underneath the kickoff, and here comes Ian Kirk. Whoa. Well, he's about 6'7" tall, Ian Kirk. He's almost made for the front row. That's like this fellow, Kylie Luluai. He's a bit lower to the ground, is Luluai, but he's got them moving forward. Here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan. A couple of missed tackles, finds Maguire. Maguire then gives it to Ablett.
It's amazing what confidence can do to him, and then you saw a quick shot of Rob Barrow, who would be loving to get out there, but he must be quite happy, as with his coach Brian McLennan. Oh, great support by Maguire yet again.
Hopping and getting the ball away to Sinfield, over the top to Delaney. Quick hands on to Scott Donald. Luke George flew out of the line. Here goes Scott Donald. Great run from him. Great covering back though from Danny Kermond.
Had to be surely penalised. He's messing around. Crowd have gone absolutely berserk over the official.
Maguire attacking the line again. Last one here for the Leeds Rhinos. Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Here is Sinfield. High kick to the corner, looking for Scott Donald. It's really high. It's flicked back. It's picked up over the top. What on earth was Jay Pitts doing then?
I think he just took a gamble. He knows that even if the Wakefield come up with it, which they did, look at the position they're in. Oh, it's a good dummy by Cook. But the sliding defence is too strong for them.
Hull are ahead of St Helens by 6 points to 0. That's at the KC Stadium. Here at Headingley, Leeds behind by 12 points to 6.
I think what Jay Pitts was doing was keeping the ball alive. Offloading is a feature we've seen from Leeds inside the first 50 minutes, and it's a feature we'll see for the rest of the game. Conditions like this, Leeds in this mood, backing their skill, will keep the ball alive as much as they can.
Untidy and careless work from Leo Latu.
Yeah, the rules state you are not allowed to play the ball forward. He tried his damnedest, and I suppose in many ways a lot of people who say, well, they don't get penalised when they don't touch the ball, but if they do and it goes forward, you can guarantee that the official will pick it up. And Ian Smith was on the ball there. More pressure.
Well, it's pouring with rain at the moment, which will not help the players and their handling skills. Absolutely dancing down. Here's Jay Pitts again.
To summer, Eddie.
Oh, exactly. I suppose a lot of people this week, after the tropical weather we've had, there we go, there's the first mistake. Probably got the garden tables out, got the barbecues all fired up, and look what's happening.
Well, I wouldn't want Ian Kirk to put my barbecue out if he handles it that way, and
he'd light it properly, I think.
It's carrying the sausages and the hamburgers I'd be worried about. Food is a, well,
I know it's very close to your heart, I realise that.
It's more the stomach rather than the heart, but
Isn't that a relief for Wakefield now?
Just a bit.
You just thought they were looking tired, little mistakes coming in. You didn't really want to see them defend another set on their line. That's a relief. Let's see them get another kick in, get back to what they did in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And it's amazing, Brian, that the way the game has turned around in the favour of Leeds is mainly due to the fact that their defence is preventing Wakefield, who in the opening 10 minutes controlled everything, got over the advantage line and got into a good kicking position.
This is Richard Moore, plays it to Sam Obst. And the kick goes down the line again from Sam Obst, finds the touch, no problems with that.
Sticking to the game plan as well. Obviously, John Keir, short blind side. And when you jump out of dummy half, it's very difficult to be able to close them down.
Well, what happens, Steve-O, is the winger on that short side is also going to be pulled up. So it leaves you a bit of space to kick in behind him. And what he's done to good effect on both sides of the field, Cook and Obst.
Well, next week, 4 of these Leeds Rhinos players will be taking part in the first international under the control of Steve McNamara. It's England against France, it's at Lee, and there's the website and the telephone number you need for any information you might require. England-France, the start of the new era, and can the new men deliver? Well, there is a delivery on a plate to Wakefield from Kyle Luluwai making a mistake.
And that's how important that you put in a kick. A lot of people think, oh, what's he done? He's just kicked it into the corner. Now the Leeds will get possession, and then they come out with error. They are the tactics you need in these conditions, because it's been very, very warm, humid, and now extremely wet.
It's Aaron Murphy. It's Glenn Morrison, I beg your pardon. And Obst is waiting at dummy half, 20 metres away from the line. It was Aaron Murphy. My mistake, should have stuck with it first time. This now is Danny Kermond. Tavita Leo Latu waits at dummy half. Finds Paul Cook. Support both ways from Cook, but he's wrestled to the ground by Badiris. Leo Latu again. Badiris got a hand to the ball-carrying arm, then forced the error on Tavita Leo Latu. These conditions look pretty grim from up here, Bill. What about downstairs?
Oh, even grimmer down here, Eddie. It is absolutely chucking it down just at the moment, as promised, as threatened all afternoon. And interestingly, the game, of course, starting with a real cavalier approach from both sides, and the instruction has gone out very quickly just to rein things in, because the error count, as we've seen, is mounting, and the rain is absolutely hammering down now.
Yes, it's going to soak the Wakefield supporters who came here in shirt-sleeve order, and they came here hoping for a really great summer's evening. Well, they've got it. It's pouring down. This is Sinfield from inside the 40. Was that a possible 40-20? He tried. Murphy picks it up. Oh, Murphy loses it. First tackle. Well, these conditions making it very difficult. Starting off really dry, and there's another handling error, but they got away with it, Leeds.
What a hit from Jay Pitts. The kick was good, chase was fantastic, and the hit from Pitts was out of this world.
Well, it's soaking everybody. Cameramen, supporters, players. Everyone's trying to get covered up. Nice and dry up here. This is Danny Badiris. And he finds Peacock. Back it comes to Sinfield. Stab kick through, looking for Lee, looking for Ablett. Oh, now then.
No try.
I think that Damien Blanche has come up with a fantastic save here, and he has.
Wonderful stuff from Blanche. That was a great kick. Sinfield early in the tackle count, and Ablett thought this was a gift. Not until Damien Blanche got there. Oh, fantastic stuff.
Great work from the winger. Great work.
99th career appearance for Damien Blanche in the UK. Goal line dropout reaches Maguire on halfway. Peacock, immense last week on his return from injury. Absolutely immense. Hull 6, Saints 6 at the KC Stadium. Remember, results go their way tonight, and there's anything but a foregone conclusion here. Never mind up there. Leeds could be in 4th place come the end of business tonight. But it's with Maguire now.
We saw an early kick from Sinfield, and I think we might get another one as well. It is so slippery on that surface.
Badiris going on his own, though, taking them on. Webb, and now Sinfield. That's a penalty because he used the dummy runner, I think it's Peacock, it is, as a foil then, went behind him.
Just through the dummy. And you'll see Peacock saying, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to get to it? Pretty difficult. He was a good metre away behind him, but this season, I must say, the officials have clamped down heavily on that.
Wait, on his foot.
Bill mentioned the handling. The defence are going to try and put a shot on the ball in these conditions and dislodge it. We've seen one come loose already. What the rain also does is, when people are catching it, coaches always teach you to catch the ball off your chest as much as possible. This weather conditions make that very difficult, and you end up catching the ball in a cradle, which slows it down if you want to go and pass it again.
Kulkidis gets to his feet, plays it to Leo Latu. Here's Richard Moore again, taking on Jamie Jones-Buchanan, taking on Jamie Peacock, going down on tackle number 3.
Big problem for...
Now then, this is Obst.
To say the big prop forward, Ian Kirk's got a real bang in the mouth. He's not 100% at the moment.
Leo Latu down the short side, Jinks inside then. Oh, and that was a gift for Lee Smith. And a very, very good tackle needed by Obst.
That should have been a penalty. He had a second goal there. And he's been very lenient to Ian Smith, the official.
Ryan Hall.
Good play.
Leeds, 3 tackles gone, and they're deep in Wakefield territory. Medeiros. Peacock's the runner on his shoulder. Cook low down. Leolato upstairs. Medeiros. They're inching forward, Leeds, aren't they? This is Ablett. They end this set of 6 underneath the sticks.
Oh, nobody there for the kick.
There is now from Sinfield.
It's touched by Blanche. She'll be underneath the sticks. Kick out.
Well, the referee, I think, has just asked the video referee, James Child, to check that the Wakefield man got a touch here.
I think you'll find that Damien Blanche just gets a fingertip to this. Yep. And that'll be more pressure. Drop out from underneath the post.
That's a quality kick. That is a quality kick. He has very little time to do that.
And Ian Smith very quick to ask for assistance from James Child, and James Child very quick with his decision.
I must say, though, Eddie, that, you know, Brian McLennan will be a little bit frustrated about the fact that Danny Medeiros went in there, it was on the last, he turned around and there was nobody there. No one was calling for it.
Peacock, as Saints hit the lead at Hull.
And again, losing possession of the Rhinos at a vital moment. I often mention in the fact that it amazes me that especially the forwards, in dry conditions, they utilise the ball-carrying arm and try to push him off, and they've dropped it again.
Well, it's drops either side, isn't it? It really is. Not able to hang on to the football at the moment. Can Jamie Jones Buchanan? He's got Obst on his back. He had Glenn Morrison for good measure as well. He holds on to it, and here comes Peacock. Now Medeiros, 10 metres out for Leeds. Defence just hanging back a bit. He gives it to Maguire.
Oh, he's lost it.
Like a bar of soap.
You know, it might not be a bad idea actually to kick early when in possession. You've got to back your ability to play for the full 80, but holding the ball inside your own half of the field isn't really an option here because we've seen the conditions. Kick it, the ball will bounce and run hard because the pitch is still very, very firm, and then chase and put the pressure on their opponents at the other end of the field.
Dimitriou, the Wakefield captain, bounces off a couple, can't get past Peacock though.
And now the Quest, even though it's on the 4th, have got, oh, that is a big error. You don't have to rush.
Ben Jeffries, he's missed the last 2. His last appearance was actually against Leeds in Scotland at the Murrayfield Festival.
It's okay doing things like that when it is bone dry, but to try to take it on the run, and John Keir will be furious about it. He's not ordering coffee there, I can assure you.
Michael Korkidas has got a nasty gash, as you can see, and that needs some treatment before he's allowed to continue on.
Yeah, looks like stitching time.
Time's off.
Another of the internationals comes off the bench for Leeds. They've had Peacock on, and now they've got the New Zealand international Greg Eastwood.
He's been in fine form as well as the New Zealander. Has the ability to run out wide as well, and they'll probably be pinpointing Sean Gleeson.
Yes. Time back
Well, they'll find him hard to deal with. He's a handful, and he's got a great offload as well. A couple of tired Wakefield forwards out there.
Lee Smith plays the ball. Here is Peacock. St Helens are increasing the pressure on Hull. Now it's Medeiros. It's Sinfield. Moore was waiting. Medeiros finds Maguire. Here's Eastwood.
Well, Leeds quite happy. First man, take it in. Second one, they bring him back on the inside. That means that they're working the first and second markers.
Ablett here gets the ball away to Jamie Jones Buchanan, and Leeds get over for their second try. A lot of people were slightly bemused why Carl Ablett was not selected by Steve McNamara for England, and that was a great offload there to Jamie Jones Buchanan, who led the way in the tackling department against Wigan last week. He topped the count with 33 tackles, Jamie Jones Buchanan, but he has scored here in the 26th minute.
Super play. As I mentioned before, they've been utilising the inside pass, and that means that Wakefield have been having to work overtime in the first and second marker position, and it has really told. That was a neat inside, but none better than this. They should have had him, should have put him to the ground. They didn't. He got the right arm loose, and Jamie Jones-Buchanan in for the try. Only missed 2 games last year. All the way through the season, has been ever present. He's a tough hombre. You'll enjoy that.
Yes, capped once by Great Britain, 6 times though by England, operating at loose forward tonight because this man, Kevin Sinfield, is playing at a standoff alongside Danny Maguire. And Sinfield with the goal earlier actually missed a milestone for him there. I'll tell you about it in a moment as he adds the extras to this try and levels the scores. But he has now surpassed 2,500 points, Kevin Sinfield. This is his 350th Leeds appearance. Fantastic servant.
Look how you see Sam Ops. He knows he's got to go for the ball carry, and what does he leave? Leaves a huge gap. And the ability, upper body strength there, that is great. Over the past 15 minutes, Leeds' support play has been nothing short of outstanding.
Well, they gave them a 12-point lead and they've whittled it away.
And one of the reasons is because they almost have a one-man advantage. The man who just trapped the ball there, Brent Webb, the way he plays the game, Eddie, as extra scrum half, standoff, whatever you call it, look at him now, he's an extra hooker, isn't he, playing in that position there. That's a one-man advantage that a lot of teams don't have. His support play is outstanding, and I've lost count of the numbers of runs he's made so far in this game, supporting the man looking for that offload. He'll score in this game because of his ability to put himself around the ball.
Medeiros waits for the Rhinos. Maguire. Deep kick downfield. And that's a good kick as well, because Murphy has to work this ball out, and he gets only as far as Sinfield, who is leading the chase.
Hold on his foot, wait, go.
Dimitriou, here's Luke George. He goes down in the tackle. Peacock round the ankles. Jay Pitts putting him to ground. Blanche.
When you talk about managing substitutions, with Corquitas been off the field, they've had to leave Richie Moore out there for a little longer. I think if you look back at that try, he was at fault for not pushing up in the line. They'll be desperate to get Corquitas back on this field and give Richie Moore a rest.
Good kick from Paul Cook, because Brent Webb will have to run this away from his own line.
Pretty good chase, though. He got there in numbers, forced him back out onto that left-hand side. It's so important when you get a kick and chase that not only out there on that far side, that your players come down the middle, give them no option to come into the open spaces.
6-8 at Salford in Warrington's favour. 12 all here. Penalty to the Rhinos for offside.
And Paul Cook is absolutely going berserk with his fellow players. He was screaming for them to come back to the official. All that hard work, beautiful kick down from that fella into the corner. They get the tackle in, and they've allowed the pressure to run away.
Senior is on the field, and it's the first time that he has been on the substitutes bench for Leeds since 2002. He's either played from the start or he's been injured. He's never been placed on the bench before, but Ryan McLennan says it's nothing, shouldn't read anything into it. He is still their #1 centre.
It'll be interesting to see whether he plays as a bit more like a forward.
Second row, he said he'd try and use him.
Yep, and that's a mistake, not surprisingly, and that's...
Matt Diskin's out there as well now, so all 4 of the Leeds subs used in this first half, each and every one of them an international.
Well, it's Diskin's decision, isn't it, to do this? I suppose when you play with 2 hookers, Steve-O, and the second one comes on, he's almost compelled, isn't he, to do something, create something, after sitting waiting for 25 or 30 minutes on the bench.
Well, it depends on, you know, Diskin's got enough experience. I'm certainly with you in that regards, but you know, in these wet conditions, the first thing you've got to do in the first opening 5 minutes, just get the feel of the game. Don't do anything outlandish.
You're expected to make an impact coming off the bench, but you got to do it sensibly. You know, get your hands on the ball first, get your first run, get your first tackle in.
That's what Henderson's just done, and here is Obst. Now Jeffries. That's a good ball to Morrison. Morrison hangs on.
Came on the angle as well.
Last tackle here for Wakefield, so it goes up off the boot of Sam Obst.
Oh, Diskin tripped somebody there.
The ball has come free.
Oh, it's passed it to nobody.
He has. Obster's passed it to no one, and then takes the tackle from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Jamie Jones really dropped on Sam Obst then. I mean, I know he wasn't tackled, and there's nothing in the rules to say he shouldn't, but...
Well, in the build-up to that after the kick, I just got the impression that the kicker was actually, I wouldn't say it was on purpose, but he certainly looked to me as though he was tripped. I think it was Diskin that was the culprit.
The referee's given a penalty against Matt Diskin, and Matt Diskin had his hand trapped underneath the ball that I think it was Richard Moore would not allow him to get his hand away from.
Yeah, it's always difficult. Obviously, Moore was hanging on.
But I can't get it. No, it was King. It was Paul King.
Yeah, I think King probably said, well, his hand shouldn't have been there in the first
I think that happened twice in the cup game here last week, and the referee, given to have to make a decision, tends to back the player in possession.
Definitely, I think that's the way the rule's been going. Interesting the decision to take 2 points here. Were the boot on the other foot and Leeds in this position, do you think Leeds would take the 2 points?
No, they'd run it.
I think so as well. I think it was a perfect opportunity for Wakefield to spend a bit of time in this part of the field. They've looked vulnerable when they've been defending their line. This is a chance to play down the other end of the field.
Well, Paul Cook here, he got a try and 7 goals. That was his best haul for Wakefield against Quins a couple of weeks ago. He did miss the Murrayfield Magic meeting, and maybe Wakefield missed him more than they care to admit that day. Anyway, here he is with a chance to edge. Wakefield ahead for the second time, and he's kicked the goal, Paul Cook.
I think the major reason, Eddie, why John Keir elected to go for that, it took them an age to prepare for it and then get on with kicking it. I think he realised that the momentum had gone away from their side. Leeds were in control, and all he needed was just to stop that momentum, get the ball back, and he can only do that with scoring points.
8 minutes to go to half-time. If Wakefield are ahead at the half-time siren, it'll be the 3rd time this year that they've led Leeds at half-time. They won 1 at the Hero Stadium. They lost, of course, at Murrayfield. Great chase from that kick-off. Such a deep kick-off into their own, the Wakefield in-goal area, and Wakefield penned back inside their 10-metre area now. Down to Bill.
Bumps and bruises out there for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Sam Obst is just the latest. Michael Korkidis has already been back to the dressing room to have a cut stitched up. There is Obst. Obst, I don't think, has been replaced yet, and they need to get him patched up and back out there. So there are only 12 on the field at the moment, and of course Obst has been a real linchpin for them. Shirt just going back on, and he'll get back there. I wonder whether the officials will say he's got to change his shirt, though, because that's got blood on it.
Well, he came on putting a shirt on. I assume it's new.
5! Move!
By the looks, yeah.
Hold! 5!
Last tackle here, though, for Wakefield. Cook was outside the 40. It goes straight down the middle, and Brent Webb is waiting. Webb runs the ball back. Only as far as Blaymire, number 1, who is on, and Jeffries. Here's Ryan Hall.
I'm just a bit confused there. Why John Keir, as he sent out the message, to change the style of the kicking? Remember, in the opening 15 minutes, Wakefield really controlled it because they were utilising the kick on that short blind side. Now they've gone for up and under.
Maybe, Steve, they didn't have Sam Obst on the field to put a bit of direction, set up for that kick that you're talking about.
Peacock hangs on. The 4th tackle. King was not exactly quick getting off him. This is Maguire up the middle. Warrington increased the lead at Salford as Sitfield hoists the bomb.
Boy, that's high. Oh, what a great take.
Took that brilliantly, Matt Blaymire, didn't he?
Certainly did. And he was high enough because the floodlights here at Headingley, they are very, very high. It would have been a bit of a problem. It may have just disappeared for a while. Great take.
No way forward. The grey skies of Headingley, but Wakefield ahead by 14 points to 12, 5.5 to the half-time siren. Obst is still out there, as you can see, the head bandaged.
And again, it's becoming a problem for the Wildcats. They just cannot penetrate and get over into the opposition half, where they know they can control it with this guy, Sam Obst, and Paul Cook with their kicking game.
Last tackle here for Wakefield again. Obst drills the kick all along the line and finds touch.
That's better. They've gone back to the basics. And it served them well in the opening 15 minutes, and that is a great kick.
They've obviously been burnt, haven't they, by Brent Webb in previous games. When his kick returns against tiring defenders at this stage in the game has cost them dearly, and whenever possible they want to buy that 45 seconds that you get generally of rest when the ball finds the sideline and you have a scrum and then you're set. Everybody has the time to get into a set position, and they start from the same position as the guys who are going to run at them.
This is Ryan Hall for the Rhinos.
Boy, he nearly got caught out as well, did the winger. He was talking to his outside players and just had a quick glance when the ball was coming to him.
Brett Delaney holds on for Leeds. Diskin, inside it goes to Peacock, and inside again to Eastwood. They managed to hold him up. Leeds supporters getting a little frustrated. Not with their team, I don't think, but with the fact that the referee not blowing 4 penalties, because he's blown for a couple against the Rhinos for holding down. He's wiping the tackle count down, is Ian Smith. Maguire takes the 0 tackle.
Now,
So
Paul
6
King,
more from here.
Paul King was appealing to the official, Ian Smith, and said, well, I went into the tackle. That should be play on. He thought the other did the man with a whistle, so that it was deliberate.
Senior trying to burst up the middle, but no way through.
And another great tackle by Morris, and he really is a wonderful machine, isn't he? 18 tackles so far, in fact 19 now. He really works his socks off, this fella.
Sinfield will attack the line for Leeds. Couldn't get the ball away to Ablett. That's the 4th tackle. Well, there it is. There is the penalty. The referee's patience has snapped with Kevin Henderson.
And it was silly play by Henderson. Silly play. Had a second go on it, applied the pressure, they'd done all the hard work. Wakefield had a one line of defence. They could have done without it.
So here come Leeds again with Diskin, and now with Peacock, and Peacock to the line, just held up short. Diskin is waiting again. Go down that left side with Webb, and off the chest of Lee Smith.
Trial goes begging. But you always take a risk when you get a bullet pass like that, and you can see that Smith had just overrun it. He knows it too. He was going up, he had to jump for it, but there was never any chance he could take it. It was like a rocket coming at him.
You can shift positions around and put people on bench and rest them, and put a centre playing in the second row like they've done with Keith Senior tonight. But what it does is takes combinations away. Brent Webb is used to having Keith Senior running that line and running that hole, and that's not to be overestimated. That's crucial, that you can develop these combinations, and you shift around players too much and you can sometimes lose those combinations.
Now what's happened here? The referee's held.
It's hit the referee. He tried his damnedest, Ian Smith, to get out of it.
Knock on by the referee, so Wakefield get head and field.
Hold.
He brushed up on the rules, eh? Oh, that looked high. Got away with it, Lee Smith.
2 minutes to go to half-time. Wakefield hanging on to this half-time lead again against the champions. Damien Blanche waits at dummy half. Flicks the pass to Demetriou, but there was an ambush waiting for him there. Maguire and Kirk. Ops once more.
Certainly was. Kirk was
They
covering
all
him there.
went away with that. They were disappeared. Oh, now
They'll
they
be
give the ball
disappointed.
away.
They don't need to. Look, they had to control the game. Now, he knows, John Keir, that he's put his own side, and they put themselves under enormous pressure. All right, it wasn't the best pass, but soon as Gleeson got to it, why on earth do you get rid of it? They know there's only seconds remaining. This is poor play.
I think I lip-read John Keir. I think he said, why don't they hold on to the ball? Or something like that.
Well, it isn't often he agrees with me, but they could come up with more points here. Rhinos, they're very adept at doing that.
Well, Hull, it was a big night for them. St Helens 22-6 up. And here now is Diskin, who finds Sinfield, who in turn finds Maguire. Now it's with Webb. Over the top it goes to Scott Donald! And Wakefield will not take the lead with them into the half-time dressing room. He's missed 13 games this year following a shoulder reconstruction. This is his 131st appearance. Incredibly, that's his 86th try for the Leeds Rhinos, but none since a couple of tries against Wakefield way back in February.
Well, this is Christmas coming early for the Rhinos at a time when Wakefield were getting poor field position, and it's just simple, basic rugby league football. See how they utilised the dummy runner coming in. That made the Wakefield defence hesitate. This is where they'll utilise the dummy runner. See how it came through, and Webb says, I'll put this guy into the corner. Superb play by the Rhinos.
But they play for the full 40 minutes. Remember the try that Ryan Hall scored for Leeds against Wakefield when they last met in Murrayfield, about 10 seconds before the half-time hooter. Their concentration is better than most.
And they've just done it again. You probably heard in the background the half-time siren has sounded again, I think. Either that or it was a fog warning. But this, I think, will be the last kick of this first half. Half the Wakefield team, or at least the subs, are disappearing into the dressing room, by the way. Sinfield trying to drift it over the crossbar. What a kick! What a kick! He hit the post a few times last week, did Kevin Sinfield. It didn't look like him at all. But he's brought his shooting boots with him tonight. And from being 12-0 down, the Leeds Rhinos have hit back and they're 18-14 up at half-time.